Alright, I'm going to go ahead and launch Unity here. Open up my RPG Playground project. Okay, let me show you what I got here. Under scripts, I have this titled map class. Titled is a RPG 2D tile editor. Let me load that up so you guys can take a look at it. Basically, here's a little tiling map I made. You'll notice that the water sprites are animated, so you have a little bit of a water ripple effect. You may recognize this tile set as coming from the RPG Maker program. I did have to do some editing to it to make it tiled friendly, but otherwise it's just the same graphics from that. This outputs into a TMX file, which is just a fancy XML file. Basically, it's mostly metadata. This is all containing the tile animations up at top, terrain brushes, which really don't come into play unless you're editing the map. Displaying it, you really don't need that info. And then down here, this is a raw map data base64 encoded. It's just basically a long string of 32-bit ints that represents which tile number shows up in which row and column position. The dimensions of which are defined right here in this XML. Inside my classes, I'll put the right one here. So this is a scriptable object, and you'll notice here, basically by using some class decorators, I'm able to use .NET's built-in XML deserialization. Basically, by looking at the XML format, I formatted this into a set of properties and structures and MUs all on a .NET class, which is all represented here. There's one little bit of special piece of code which decodes the base64 string here, loops through it, takes every 4 bytes, converts it to an int, adds it to this data array. So I did have to use a custom IXML serializable method on this class so that it executes this custom code when it's decoded. Inside my editor folder, I got a tile map editor. This is a editor extension that's attached to that tile mapped object. Again, the tile map object is a scriptable object, which is just a Unity data structure is basically the best way to look at it. Getting this to be serializable so it saves as a Unity asset was my main goal behind coding it this way. One of the things that was very easy for me to overlook was that you needed to decorate all the subclasses and substructs and the sub-MUs as serializable. I was missing this for a while. Really took me a bit of time to figure out I needed to add this decoration to these structures so that when Unity serializes the object, it saves all this data. What was basically happening is I would load it, it would exist in memory, but when I closed Unity and reopened, all the data was gone, and I had to re-parse the XML file to get it to load. This editor extension class basically attaches to that object and gives me this load map button. This load map button executes this little function here that instantiates a new serializer. Right now, the path to the tiled map file is hard-coded. My first job tonight's going to be making that editable and not be hard-coded. And then basically, I was having some weird problems, some weird error messages that you couldn't replace the existing object, the target on the asset Basically, when you extend the editor class, there's a target method, target property rather, on this class. This target is basically the instance of the tiled map object you're currently editing. You can't replace this. This is a read-only property. So to be able to actually write to it, I basically create a copy, and then I simply override the existing asset with a copy of it. And this seems to work. It's probably not super kosher, but it gets the job done. So, as you can see in here, when you go into Unity, under my Maps folder, this is a saved instance of my scriptable object that is the decoded tiled map file. Basically, you see the tile sets here. This is the layer data, and then you have the raw basic. Here's every cell on the map grid and which tile number is its sprite. And I have my load map button down here. This is what the editor extension class has given me, is this extra little button here. And I had some debug output down here because it loads the because on Inspector GUI, I'm calling the base.onInspector GUI. It's rendering the default layout. If I comment this out, I would only get them at load map button, but it's good for debugging to be able to see all that. So what I want to add to this is the property for the location of the TMX file. So I'm going to go ahead and add a public property on this class here. This isn't going to have a decoration for the XML deserialization because this actually isn't a part of the XML markup. It's unique to the tiled map object, serializable object. I'm going to call this file location, or maybe just TMX file. And here's something I'm curious on. If I actually drop this in the folder, can I use a file picker? I'm going to use the same file name here. This is in my file server. Use the same file name for consistency. You notice this is enabled 04 because it took me 4 attempts to get that script to even remotely work. Alright. Does Unity even acknowledge that file exists? It's in there. What I want to be able to do is drag and drop this in a field. Yeah, that field right there. I wonder if there's a .NET property for storing that kind of data in. Now, secret that every IT professional in the world keeps to themselves is that we don't do any actual work and we just let Google think for us. So I'm going to do a little bit of searching to see if I can't figure out if there's a property I could add to this class that will automatically let me do like a file drag and drop and replace. So we've got some Google Foo here, Unity, script, property for arbitrary, I can't spell, arbitrary file. Yeah, it's just some basic API. That doesn't look like it could be very useful. Property drawers. Okay. This doesn't look like what I want either. May have to tweak my keyword search here a little bit. I know I'm getting Cisco results here. Did I spell something there? No. It really thinks I want text asset. Let's see what that's about. Our text files has assets. That doesn't seem to be a valid keyword. Let's see what I'm messing up here. Dan's telling me I can't steal RPG Maker's graphics. No one will ever know. This is proof of concept. Perfect, and for educational purposes, perfectly legitimate in terms of copyright law. And that's my story, and I'm sticking to it. It's in Unity Engine. Am I not using Unity? It's right there. Why is text asset not like it's Unity Engine? Public Unity or text asset. Text reader, text writer. This is API documentation for a current version. It says I'm in 5.5. Perhaps I should actually read this instead of poking around. Oh, I think this is a static class that has, yeah, this isn't a property. This is a utility class. I think it would be more along the lines of text as. No, that's still not. What the hell, Unity documentation? You lied to me. I'm going to go back to a little bit more Google search. I may have to give up and just have it be a string field that just holds the file name. It's not ideal, but hey, it's better than nothing. Open file panel. That might sound like something I need. This will have a list of all valid property names or property types. That's a tutorial. Kind of want API documentation more than watching a video. What does this guy do here? What I could do is I could make a string text box and add a button that will open this dialog. That's what I'll do instead. So I got the string. Put that back to the string, and I'll call this I think my IntelliSense is broken in .NET right now. This isn't auto-completing anything. I'm going to close Visual Studio and open it again. Two viewers? Who's number two? Might just be me and Dad. Okay, Unity. Let's try that again. Want the editor script. If you've never written an editor script before, it actually has to be in a folder called editor. It's kind of a requirement of how Unity's this object model works. This is why we can't have nice things. I will just copy this code since I know this already works. Okay, type. Where's that code I wanted? This is actually just going to, let's start a temporary variable first, and if it's filled out, then I'll populate the target dot. I really wish IntelliSense was working right about now. Anyways, I installed a update to the Unity plugin for Visual Studio. I wonder if that update broke stuff. I might have to roll that back. Okay, then I've updated the editor class. If I actually look at the asset, I'll see that new button. Or not. I got a compile error here. Unexpected symbol public. Right. There you go. Clear your console. Okay, that looks good. There you go. Select map. Let me fix that code so it actually looks in the right file extension. Is TMX, right? TMX, yep. Now, if IntelliSense is working, I'll be able to see what that second perimeter is, because I'm a little curious if that's something. What does the API documentation tell me? That was this one. What's the second argument? Okay, that link there is circular. Save. Documentation, you suck. Oh, wait, here we go. Title directory, where it starts. I might want to actually start in my asset folder, which there's a way to get that path. I think it's just asset database. And IntelliSense is killing me tonight. Not really sure what I could do about that. I need a message over here that I need to read the project. Let me. Okay, I'm not sure what that was about, but I think I'm. There we go. I'm not sure what that error was about. That fixed the problem. The get asset folder. Yeah, there. Get asset path. No, get database path. Not this one, is it? No, it returns an array. This gets the path for a specific asset. I just want the asset folder path, which there's totally a variable for. In fact, I've seen code with it. So let me go to, it'll be in here, I think. I think I already extracted that actually. This is a lynda.com project tutorial I watched a while back, and this is where I saw him use that function. No, he's getting the path for a specific. Yeah, what I'll do is I'll get the asset path for just the current asset, and that way it'll always open in the directory that are scriptable objects in, theoretically. I'm not sure if it's going to get mad at me because I'm passing a full path for a file name. I don't think it's happy with that. This isn't the directory I expected to be in. Is that can I do like a file.get base path? Get directory, no. Well, like system.io file. Get path or something. Or just directory. Let me debug on this line and actually see what that's. I'm going to close tile. I keep thinking it's Unity. Quick watch. Yeah, I think the file opens not liking the fact that there's a file path at the end when it's expecting a directory. I don't think there's a good way around that. I'm just going to pass it an empty string and a default. I'm trying to get fancy here, and it's just not working in my favor. Gives Unity a second to recompile. Alright, select map. There you go. And I fit load map. The deselection happens because I executed the save asset database or save assets here. So it kind of rebuilds everything. And now when I click on it, it loaded the map. It's hard to really tell because all the data was there to begin with. So let me delete it and create a new one so we can kind of see the process from scratch. So I'm going to create a new tiled map object. That appears in the menu automatically, by the way, because I threw this decorator on the class right here, create asset menu. That tells it that you can create this scriptable object from the right click menu. So I'm going to name it the same. That way, there's just which map goes to which scriptable asset. We see everything's zeroed out on everything. There's no width, no layers, no tile sets. So we'll select map, assets, maps, my test here, load map, deselects, but when I click back in, all the data is there. So that's actually working. I'm going to go ahead and TMX file got reset. That's because when it actually creates a new instance of the. I think I got some redundant code in here. I don't think I need destination. I could just have map. And I'm gonna just do map.tmx file equals the target.tmx file, and then I could just save the map. I think that's fine. I think the code I had in there was redundant. It was when I was trying to figure out how this whole damn thing worked. Create a new one. I saw it on my clipboard, yeah. So select map, asset maps, TMX file, load map. I click it, and good, that populated again with the data. All the, I have a 16 by 12 tiled map here, so that results in 192 elements. So that's pretty straightforward. That all seems like it worked. Now the real trick, took me forever to get working, is to quit Unity and launch it again and have all that data still be there. So I'm just seeing your chat here, Dan. Yeah, get asset path. It gets the path to a specific asset. Then data path is like the location of the compiled application where it stores its data. The TMX file is never going to get packaged and shipped with an application, so I don't think that would be the right one. What I really wanted, I wanted get asset path for the current scriptable object, but I needed to trim off the file name. That's more work. I mean, that's why bother? I can just give it an empty string and browse the directory. A couple extra clicks, but I just didn't feel like writing the code to trim off the file component of the path. So that all loads over just fine. I'm going to take out this extra debug statements here because I'm rendering the whole GUI, the default GUI. I don't need this extra stuff here. But maybe what I will add is a couple warnings. If you don't have anything selected, you should get some notification about that. Help text, is that what I want? GUI editor. What's editor GUI? There's 2 or 3 different classes with GUI stuff to draw on. It's a little annoying. Then I got a help box. Now this wants a specific position to render on. I don't want to get that detailed. This guy do anything with help boxes in his code? No. No. I've seen somebody do some code where he was able to throw up a warning box. I want to do that if it is null, to tell them, hey, you need to actually select a map and load it before you can do anything useful. Google the rescue. Not finding it. Unity warning. Unity editor. Warning box. Now, don't want it to be a dialogue. I just kind of want it to be like a little red X element in here, being like, "Hey, you haven't selected a map yet." Now, the help box needs a. Oh no, here we go. Editor GUI layout help box. I think that's what I want. Yeah, okay, good. You must select a TMX file and load it. And it's feasible you could load a TMX file that has no layers, and likewise we want to basically want a warning that, hey, you're while you have a map loaded, it's essentially empty, and that doesn't make a really good RPG level if you have no. Why am I getting a warning here? I need 2 arguments. What's the second argument type? Warning. Your map has no layers. I'm actually going to move this above the default based on Inspector GUI. I want these message boxes to be the first thing you see and not have to scroll down past all the properties first. So this will load my error messages, then render all the default properties and all this widths and heights and whatnot. Then give us those 2 custom map buttons. Now I'm going to go ahead and if you select a file, I'm just going to go ahead and load the map. You're never not going to want to do that after immediately selecting a file. You can hit load map here to refresh the map if someone's edited the TMX and need to reload the scriptable object with the data. Test this. I'm going to blow it away again and create a new one. It's highlighted. I got a compile error here. If target equals null, else equals null, or because it could not even be set to an object yet, so I kind of need two checks. If it's not even an object, I should never even hit that because target would have been null by then. I'm doing this backwards. Target's never going to be null. This would never happen. This should be target.tmx file. There we go. Target can never be null. It's always attached to a scriptable object. There we go. There you go. That's what I wanted right there. Select map. Loaded the map automatically. I added that little bit of code. Boom. That all looks good. Let's test the rare use case where if you've selected a TMX file where the TMX file has no layers on it. So I'm just going to go into tiled here, create a new map. None of these really matter. I'm going to delete the default layer there, so now I have an empty file. I'm just going to go ahead and save this in my assets folder. I'm just going to call this empty map. Now when I go over here and select that empty map, I should now get the message that, hey dummy, you have no layers. There we go. All that sanity check code is working. It'd be nice if it could automatically select this asset after it reloaded the... does this return anything? No. But can I do selection dot... Is it get and set? Get and set. Let's see what happens. That way when you load the map, it automatically selects it again. I have no idea if that's actually going to work. So let me collapse this stuff. It's interesting that even after you've deleted the object and reloaded a new one, it remembers what you had. Oh, it did. It reselected it. So that little annoying UI hiccup's been cleared out. So here's the next fun part. This basically is now a serialized object of a processed tiled map. So it could easily now be read in game and processed and the like. Except I'm missing a step. I want to be able to inside the tile map. Kind of jumping around a little bit here. You actually have a path to the right here where the image sources are. I want to have this automatically get loaded by Unity into a texture. So let's take care of that. I'm going to reopen the file because I saved it to a different path, so I don't want to look at that path there. I'm pretty sure Tiled is smart enough that it the relative paths get updated, so I shouldn't have to start guessing where that file actually exists in the file system. As long as I don't jump around to different computers. Okay. Yeah, see, I got the full path there. So what I'm going to do here is add a property to the class. That's going to be a texture 2D right here. So tile sets. Yep, this is it. Image. I think you can only have one image. Yeah, you can only have one image. So I think I just want out the base level here. So public texture 2D is what should I call this? I'll just call it texture. I'm not feeling like being inventive today. So let's see here. How to best hook in and load this automatically. I could put it on the editor. I could put it in here. But is there any way I can put it in this class? Here's the hitch. You can't actually have these are actually fields, not properties, or properties, not fields. I always get the two confused in .NET. I'm going to quickly .NET field versus property. You know, I just want to remember which one's which. Okay, fields are the dumb ones. So Unity can actually only ever serialize fields. So they can't have a getter and setter. Properties have getter and setters. Fields do not. Unity really can only serialize and deal with fields. It's kind of an annoying limitation. Because they can't have getters and setters, I can't hook into when this source object changes to automatically update this texture. It'd be a nice thing to be able to do. It's just not an option. So I think I'm going to have to add this to the editor class. That'd be the only logical place to do it. So after that loads, I'm going to just go ahead and make sure that actually for each is fine. Tiled map object dot tile set in map dot tile set. I'm going to make sure that's not null first. If map dot tile set. Doesn't matter if it's empty, the for each loop just isn't going to do anything. Now I can basically make sure the source isn't empty. I think if it is empty, I'm going to throw an error message. If tilemap.image tileset.image.source is a string is null or empty, I'm going to Editor user. There's probably a message box function on this. Open file. I just want kind of like a warning box. Display dialog. I can't do the same trick of the on GUI because the GUI is going to go away, so I'm going to have to do an open dialog instead. Title, missing tile set image. Tile set has no image source. String OK. Kind of want like a warning box. I guess this is fine. Just okay. And continue. Okay. If it finds one, I want to import it. So I think there's an asset database in import asset. Yeah. Get this guy here. This returns void, which is interesting. I'm going to execute it and see what the heck happens. Let's... I don't think I need that. Okay, go back to Unity, compile. These warnings can be ignored. This is an old utility class I had back before I had the load buttons and everything. I'm gonna make this code. This keeps throwing errors and it's getting a little annoying. This will eventually be where I add all the logic that will read the scriptable object and then generate an array of sprites to actually render the map. I'm not quite there yet. Let's have a load map here. Cannot be serialized because it does not have a public constructor. This is a .NET .NET problem. Was there a do not serialize decorator I could throw on that field? There we go. See if that fixes it. Nope. All spells Google, right? Can I copy this? Yeah. This is a generic .NET error, so I'm going to take out that specific class name. I don't know why I can't paste that all of a sudden. Looks like plain text. There it goes. That was weird. XM.NET XML. I just want to ignore the field. XML serializer. Ignore field. XML ignored. that. Yes, that import ACID isn't what I actually want to use. I was afraid of that. Unity editor script import PNG. Texture importer seems about like what I want to use. Okay, this looks a little bit more complicated than just a simple method call. Does this link to the Unity docs? It does. Examples? No? Well, that's what I want. Might be all I need. Let me see what happens. I can't type. Has no image source. Something's not working. Tile set. Image. Yeah, something's really broke here actually. Serializable decorator is killing me. Okay. There we go. Let me reload this. Still isn't right. Oh. I typed SRC like it's HTML and they actually spell it out. I'm going to have to go back here and update a couple of these. Boom and boom. That should fix that problem. Load the map again. There we go. That's populating properly. So does that texture just magically appear? I don't know if this is... I might have imported this earlier. I'm going to delete it and redo it. Okay. Yeah, no, that was previously imported. I tried that and it didn't work. Let's let me reread that error message. This apparently is for tweaking the importer settings based on what the API documentation kind of reads. Actually, when I first was trying this, it's back when I had some bad code in there, so that might have just been the problem. What other options do I have on this? It really annoys me that this just returns void. Yeah, let's see what happens. Kind of would like to track down how it saved it and where it saved it so I could do stuff to it. Didn't get an error this time, but I also don't know where the... Okay, I think I have to copy the file first, then I can import it. So let's do a copy image tile set image source to asset database.get unique. No, I don't actually want to get unique. I want to keep it the same file name. I'm gonna have to figure out how to strip the path of the file name component off. .NET get file name from path. Path.get file name off. That's what a problem. I was looking in the system.io.file, but it's actually in system.io.path. Path.get file name from the tile set image source. I'm just going to have to assume that the asset.texture folder exists. I don't know if this command creates it or not. I just want to copy the name. I'll type it out, I guess. Then let's store that in a string. Directory not found. Oh, assets, plural. See, this is why I don't type anything. Copy and paste always. So that answers the question that it does not automatically create the necessary directories. Boom. Okay. I want to get this asset and then change a bunch of settings on it. So let's texture 2D texture. So copy it, import it, then texture equals texture 2D dot get asset. Well, that's my asset database dot get asset. So load asset at path, that's what I wanted. Okay, there's a bunch of different settings I want to work with here. I gotta change the pixels per unit. I need to change the sprite mode to multiple. Heaven forbid these be named the same. I think no, that's good. Okay. Not filter mode, is it? No, that's a different property. Format. It's amazing how like half these properties don't exist on the class. This probably isn't a texture 2D then. This might be something else. It was just a base texture. Basically the same properties. Read more of other people's code. What the heck are they doing? Let's see, they're doing a texture 2D. Unity, editor, script, texture, set pixels per unit. Basically, I want a 1-to-1 to pixel per unit. I don't want to get crazy. So I do have to dig around with that texture importer, asset importer. apparently. It's a property of a sprite. I think I have to cast it as a sprite, not a texture. No idea if this is going to work, by the way. Is this a read only? That's read only. Yeah, but Unity texture importer example. How do I use this? When I import asset, I can pass in the importer. So up here, I'm going to do texture importer, new texture importer, importer.pick pixels per unit, sprite pixels per unit, sure, one. Then importer dot. I want filter mode to be point, and I want to turn off generate maps. Then get that map enabled. Let's do format to true color. Oh, what the hell? Oh, true. Which one of these is supposed to be true color? There we go, I'm at true color. And then like sprite mode to multiple. Yeah. Might as well set the packing tag. Good night, Dad. And sleep is for the weak. I know the pixel size of the tiles. Am I able to set that? Importer, sprite, sheet. That looks too complicated. I'm not going to attempt to set that on the importer. Then when I import the asset, I could simply do importer asset to texture importer. What else is this guy here? Think that's all wrong. Okay, what am I? Well, I guess you never actually. Oh, those guys actually never did figure it out. I probably should have read that all the way. The cast the asset has the importer? That seems weird. So in this case, that stays there, but all this stuff moves down here. That's how that code described how this should look. I think there's only about a 50% chance this is going to do anything useful. Already exists. Oh, the copy command failed. Overwrite. I don't think that casting worked. Yeah, I didn't think it was. Oh, okay, I got kind of that real bit backwards. That's what I think I need. Clear console and load, and that didn't blow up in my face, which is always appreciated. And that's much more what I wanted. Sweet. So I am going to, once it's been imported, I'm going to save it back to the structure. So map tile set texture equals asset database load at path. Cannot modify members of tile set because it is a for each iterator. I think it's worried that the array changes and for each blows up when that happens. Honestly, the best way around that. Huh. I'm going to Google that. Yeah, they're structs, and structs are passed by value, not by reference. I may have to change all the structs to classes. I'm just going to try swapping it real quick. There's no real reason I'm using structs. There's no methods in it, which my first reaction was, there's no methods. Why? It should just be a class. I mean, rather, when there's no methods, it should be a struct. I think that should solve that error. Warning, rather. Yeah, that did. Okay. So now we go back to our maps. That texture gets set. Boom. Still have to manually go in and hit the sprite editor to cut it up. I mean, it's not the end of the world, but by a good size. I think they're 32s. Top left. Boom. That looks all good. Apply. Package the textures. This is just an optimization thing. Probably shouldn't even bother till everything's working. That's been packed. Okay, let's look at my map real quick. Most tiles are green, which is ID number 12. Here's the annoying thing. It's indexed 0 base here, but I think everywhere else it's referenced, it's 1 indexed. I might be a little wrong on that, but I'm pretty sure I remember seeing that and kind of scratching my head. So when I look at the actual tile data, 13. So that's probably all the grass. It's the most common tile number. And yeah, see, so that's 1 indexed where all these are 0 based. And the interesting thing is that's actually going to work in our favor because the way textures work, is you get this texture, and it's going to give you an array, but index 0 is going to be the texture as a whole. So starting at indexed 1 is actually your tiles. So I think the fact it's offset is actually going to work in our favor. So I'm going to go out on a limb and say for the moment this editor class is done. So we go to our game objects. This is going to be what we drop this map into and what we want it to generate. So I am going to, that's these two classes here. This is going to need a public tiled map object, map. So now I could go to my asset folder, maps folder rather. Boom. All that work so we can drag and drop that map onto this game object. So first thing we want to do is get this generate map to do stuff. So let's create a function for that. Rather a method. Actually declare it properly here. First things first is to empty the game object. So this dot get like child's game object. The game object on. Oh, this is the editor. Okay. Target dot. I'm gonna cheat. I had this little hack in here on one of my other scripts. The script that we're just working on actually. Where did my editors go? Oh, here we go. The default target's just a generic object, and that's super frustrating. So this is kind of a little hack workaround to return something a little bit of the right type, so that I don't have to keep casting it over and over again. Okay, target dot. There we go. See, this has everything I want. Get children. I'm gonna have to get like transformed our get children. Get child. Get children. Child count. Get siblings. Get components in children. Is that on here? Yeah. I just think the game object. Does not have a numerator. What does it return? A single object? More like an array. Ah, there's a plural I needed. There we go. This will empty the game object because we're going to build it from scratch just to test to make sure this works. Create some empty hierarchy here. Now when I click the generate map, nothing happens. Yeah, I need to grab the transforms instead. Oh, and it includes itself. That's annoying. Here, this guy actually did some similar code. I'm gonna reference what he's doing. Script.makeMap. And it's a random map tester. We should have a make map method. Let me open this up, something easier to work with. Now I don't have the code. I'll download that. This is just a little lightweight editor. It's good for when you're looking at source files, not really having to compile or need IntelliSense or anything. Okay, let's install. Getting distracted here. That's all fine. So what make map was the method I'm looking for. New map. What's the map property? This guy definitely abstracted his code a lot. That's just the array. This is basically the scriptable object. His version of the scriptable object. Um, he doesn't have to like. Oh, he's getting the components of the trans. I think that's exactly what I did. Why is my code deleting even the game object itself? I guess I'm not. I'm going to try to do target.transform. I'm not quite sure the exact difference, but it seems to be what he used, and his code was deleting his parent game object. Why do I have two of these? Okay, let's test this again. Create some dummy hierarchy here. Do some nesting, a couple of siblings. See? Components and child. And he's doing this a little bit differently. He's deleting from the bottom up. He never deletes 0. That's why his this is greater than, not greater than, equal to. So that's how he's avoiding deleting his own containing element. I think I just need to add a little check in here that if child equals target, just to continue. I think I should do the trick. Kind of figured that's what I needed. I was just curious as to why he wasn't having that same problem. Create some hierarchy here, a couple siblings, some depth. Nope, that didn't work. That's annoying. Oh. If child equals target.transform. Okay, was this the 3rd times now? Okay, I think this is working. Left 1 extra. I'm going to do what he did and count backwards. He probably knows what the hell he's doing. I think I have a problem that I'm deleting the parents before I get to the children, and that's probably causing some weird behavior. I'm not going to use it. I hate var. I mean, I want to know what the type is. The array of transforms. That should be fine. Okay, 3rd, 4th time now. Some depth there. So now it's doing jack shit. Oh. Because I'm doing this in editor, I need destroy immediate, not just destroy. Destroy is end game. That's exactly what I wanted. Okay, I should have just copied this code to begin with. Okay, I'm not sure if I'm ever gonna need to call this a 2nd time. I may break this out another function. We'll have to see. Okay, now I'm going to, well, first off, if target dot map is null. Well, you don't even show this button if they haven't selected the map yet. Okay. A little redundant, but I mean, it's not going to work. I don't know why I keep typing not instead of no. Okay, let's do a for each map target. Type first. Type is a tiled map object dot layer. In target map layer. Okay, for each layer, game object equals, let's create new game object. Oh, uh, I mean, step A, I mean, does that work? Very good. Now, oh, coding's gonna get fun. I want some utility functions in here. So Windows. Oh, we got a couple here. Public vector2 get tile position int index vector what's this one? Oh, So we need to convert this into a row. Thinking. Yes, so we need a couple other properties. Int row and column. Now, row is going to equal index divided by width floored, I think. Then column is going to equal the indexed mod width. Then position X is going to equal the row times the tile height. I don't know the tile height at this. I'm going to have to pass in the layer, not the layer info, the tile set. Let's get the data structure here. Yeah, I meant to reopen the map, it never did. Oh, it was open, I just didn't see it. Okay, so the layer just has the calculated width and height. The tile set has the tile height, and then the map itself. I think I need to use this data here, the width, the tile width and height off the map. So let's make this function take in the map just so it has access to those variables. Um, I'm like 90% sure this is the right logic here. So let's do I'm going to do for each instead. I actually want the index number. I'm going to have 4 instead of for each. So I'm going to do a game object tile equals new game object. So I want to pass in the index as the part of the name. That's why I did that. It's bigger. I'm doing something wrong. Sprite renderer. Transform. I want to use sprite. Reference this dude's code again. Why don't you instantiate the new sprites? Where's the tile prefab he's using? Okay. Prefab's just game objects? Yeah, it's just a game object. Prefab or prefabs? Prefabs. I kind of wish Unity created a default folder structure, you know, so there'd be consistency between everybody. I'll use this prefab because I might drop components and whatnot onto it, so that's why I'm doing it that way. So now we just want to instantiate a new one of those. Sprite.sprite. Yeah. There's a decorate tile function which sets get component, gets these island tiles, and just sets it. So what I want to do here is on the layer dot image tile set map target dot map dot tile set. I need to know which tile set to get. So I am going to, yeah, here, I guess it's fine. Alright, about this class, I need to refactor this code, it's so sloppy. Public tile set, get tile set from index, index. So here's a catch. Let me just sort this list first. There's, if you have multiple tile sets, your index can be on a different tile set other than the first one, and there's basically just a starting tile number that you need to check. So if I'm looking at, if my tile set has 100 sprites on it, and I'm getting the tile for sprite number 120, well, that's the 20th sprite in the second tile set. So I need to figure that out. So in my tile set, I'm going to do some link here. I think I probably have to include that namespace. I'll set the order by, and let's do TAST dot first grid, I think is what that's called. Yes. I think I want to do this backwards. So I want to get the first one that's greater. No, I want to do normal. This is actually tile, not index. And tile is, and then first. Return. I think this guy should just be first back here. Because it's one indexed. That I think that'll work. So map dot get tile set from index, and we're gonna get the and TID for tile ID. TID. Dot. Texture. Yeah, there we go. What's this? How do I get the subtiles off of this? I think this guy did a load all assets at path, something along that line. Load all right there. He's using resources. He dropped these in a resources folder. That's a special class. Let me see if there's a different way to do that. I'm not really using resources here. Unity, texture, multiple, load sprite. Is that really the best way? Because that's kind of lame. Why isn't this just a function off of the texture object itself? Guess I'll try that. You don't think I need a normal private. You don't serialize privates. The database I think is part of the editor. And this doesn't get called in the editor. So, yeah, just resources. I think it's a path first. What the hell does this guy do again? That happens. That only works inside the editor. This has great. This works at build time. I'll just get. I don't know if that's gonna work or not, but I'll try it. Insert problem. Texture. There's just as much likelihood to work as not work. I think that's what I need. %. Oh, and I need to set the location. I'm going to move that function I wrote up. It kind of just dawned on me that the get position only really needs the map here. It doesn't need to actually be on the layer. I don't think layers can have offsets. They can have offsets. Interesting. I don't know what that looks like. I don't know why you would do this. Some pixels even. So I will support this weirdness of. Okay, that needs to stay down here. I don't, yeah, it's not currently being deserialized, so that'll have to be functionality I add. Stop bitching that I'm saying that vector 2 over vector 3. Okay, hold your pennies. I'll send the name. Sprite didn't get set. Didn't like something about that. So let's let me fix that name real quick. And get tile. Now, was it okay with the position and just was something else that blew up on? Get tile set from index. I'm gonna break here and see what the hell's going on. Locals tile set has data in it. Only one item. First crit's 1. Passing in 13. Yeah, I'm doing this wrong. This logic isn't valid. I want to sort it backwards. They get the first one that's less. That's my mistake. I think that's what I want. That's not working. Okay, step into that. It's initialized already. Yeah, something didn't work there. I didn't think this was gonna work. Yeah, let's return an empty array. And this is something I do when you generate the map. It's not the greatest thing ever, but editor, yeah, that's what I wanted. Now, tileset.sprites. Yeah, well, I didn't make it public. Which I now have to ignore it. Oh, it doesn't really care. This guy was doing something like that, right? Of type to array. So when I load the map, this is going to be back on the scriptable object. I'm now going to have an array of sprites. So when I reload the map, that should populate. (120) tile set 120. I feel like I'm going to need a +1 in here somewhere. I don't think it's going to give me the right I think it's going to be off by 1. Best error ever, off by 1. Every time you load the map, it actually blows away and recreates the scriptable object asset, so that breaks this reference on the game object. So every time we hit load map, we're going to have to remap it to any game objects that reference it. Did shit. Huh. $13, which is a black tile. I mean, that's what we're seeing here. This is not by 1 problem. Yeah, like that. So let's because I think we're using a different method to load the sprites. Because we're casting it as a sprite here, the texture is no longer the 0 element. It is, but it becomes null, so it's filtered out of the list. So that's why we get this off by 1 problem here. But now that I've made that little tweak, not perfect, between a couple problems. Orientation is completely wrong. on the side for some reason. Standing up, rather. And the grass tiles are right, but none of the water tiles look right. Let me zoom out of my camera here. Move it around my game view. And none of those tiles look right. And we get some artifact in here. I was afraid of this. These lines we're seeing here. You're supposed to, when you pack your tiles, have a pixel or two of transparent white space around the borders to avoid these the lines we're seeing here. I was hoping I could ignore that problem, but clearly it's not going to work out. I forgot why my axes are messed up now. Position was it here? The lair, wasn't it? Yeah. Let's also a breakpoint in here and see what the hell it's doing. Need to attach. So row 0, column 0, and index is 0. That sounds good to me. That breakpoint can go away. Index is 1, columns 1, and row stays at 0. That's good. I got X and Y mixed up. Now it looks upside down. Still upside down, people? I think it's upside down. Well, I think I grabbed a game object. Make sure I got this the root. I'm going to move it around. Built it upwards. I don't know if that's a problem. Could have negative Y if I wanted it to build down instead of up, which is why it's at the very end. So I do have to do that. So when we do this calculation, we want the negative result of the Y index. That way it builds down, and that's why and we hopefully won't see it inverted anymore. Boom! Okay. And that fixed the tile rendering problem, because when things aren't flipped and rotated weirdly, it kind of starts lining up. So the only real problem is these kind of weird line artifacting we're getting. Yeah. Oh, well, what the GoRain renderer. I'm going to choose to ignore them for the moment, and hopefully they don't appear when we render this game for real. The tiles aren't animating yet. What's going to have to happen to get some tiles animating? Let me kind of show how that works. So yeah, blank water right here is 0, 4, and 5. Wait, what? I don't know how I'm looking at. Those are different tiles. Yeah, these first 3. So drag these in, creates an animation. I'm gonna have to write code to do this automatically. So copy component. Let's go to one of these water tiles. Paste component. Now if I play, we see it animating right there. Moving a little fast. Let's look at the animation controller. There's a what is the animator window animator? So that's one I have open. It's not the perimeters. Those are for setting flags to trigger different animations at different events. Animation. This might be it. I'm supposed to be able to edit the samples here somehow. Speed? Maybe that's just the speeds when I want to edit. There you go. I think that looks a bit more reasonable. I think I had this set to 33. So basically, there's 3 frames, so it takes 1 second to cycle through all of them. So that's what we're seeing right there. If I am able to get to the tile above the one I just selected, there you go. Yeah, that's exactly how it should look. Minus the fact this is wrong tile. So, I think next time I'm going to get the animators set up so they render properly. That data is all these tiles animation frame data here. Oops. So I'm going to have to parse this in my .NET class. And when you hit the load map button, I'm going to have to generate animators for each one of these and go from there. Oh, this is terrain. Terrains are big brushes. It's actually how you draw. I don't have the terrain set up properly there. So it's showing you how that's done. Let's go to the terrain editor. Water shallow, water deep. Actually, those look like it's set up properly. Oh, I don't have any grass. That's the problem. No, grass is there. That should have worked. That's interesting. Terrain. Water deep. Yeah, something's fucked up here. Yeah, tiled. Yeah, it's open source. It's a little buggy. Well, I make excuses for it, but it's the truth. I really do not see why this isn't working. So you paint grass. That all seems to be working pretty well. But when I paint there, I just don't think it's all the right tile data is on there. There we go. It's pretty picky with, there you go, that's how it's supposed to look. If you don't use the terrain brush exclusively and you start painting with it, you get weird behavior like that. You kind of have to make sure any gaps is filled in and it always knows it's used the terrain brush. But again, this is all editor functionality. This doesn't really affect the map data that much. Oops. In fact, I'm going to save it and reload, and oh, I added the second layer there. Oh, I was painting on the second layer that whole time. However, excellent test to see if the layering works at all. I'm only getting one layer. And I don't know why my camera's all off center that badly. I didn't reload the map data. So it would be nice to put in some kind of test to see see if the map data needs to be reloaded so it could warn the user. Boom. Second layer showing up here. That's why I was having a problem painting. It was the second layer didn't have. That's why it's zero indexed. Zero means there's no data there. That's good to know. I mean, rather, that's why it's one indexed, is because zero means there's no data. So what I'm going to do here is when it builds the map, here we go. If TID equals 0, continue. Basically, don't draw a sprite here. Cool. Now, go back to my game object. Need to reset that reference, generate. Okay, now I got two layers. And if I toggle one of these off, actually toggle layer 1 off, you see there's gaps. So, actually is working, though I'm worried it's rendering in the wrong order. So that's something I'm going to have to play with. I may have to play with how it's ordering these. Oops, sort of what I did there. There we go. There is in fact a yeah, this layer here, which you probably don't really want to mess with, but you have this sorting ordering layer here, and that may have to be set. I'll have to play with it to know for sure. But, you know, first attempt at a map renderer, I think, is a pretty good success in my opinion. Yeah, I'm going to end it here. It's about 1 a.m. Hope you've enjoyed watching this videos. I enjoyed making it. I'm probably going to do a couple more of these. I'm not going to make any guarantees I'll do this all the time, but I've seen people do Let's Play on video games, so I thought to myself, what the hell? I'm going to do Let's Play on programming, because it's what I do. Talk to you guys later. Feel free to comment and leave feedback. And I wish you all a good night.